What you learn through this documentary is the tip of the iceberg.
Most people are disconnected from each other. And I think there's even a spiritual aspect to it. The fact that we long to be connected to someone or something. And the way we design our homes, our cities today, we have become more and more disconnected. People love to be connected. They want to be where the energy is. They want to be where the theaters and the food and the community, they want to connect to each other. There's just sort of a deep down inside part of all of us.
My family was in the real estate business. My grandfather was a ditch digger for a utility company, and my other grandfather, he was a bootlegger at first, and then he went on to eventually ended up selling houses in subdivisions. And then my father, he was a salesman, eventually started building houses and started developing property, building apartments, building condos. And it's interesting, failing in second and third grade, just to digress for a second, the reason I failed it is my parents got divorced, which I didn't know until later in life. When I saw my report card, it's the exact moment my parents divorced. So I went on from there, and I ended up playing basketball and was very good in high school, and ran track, and I ended up getting a scholarship to Northwestern University up in Chicago for a basketball scholarship. Started with a track scholarship, went to basketball. And so when I got out of school from Northwestern, I jumped in my car, my beat up Chevy, and headed south to the land of opportunity to Texas. And when I showed up in Texas, I knew I wanted to be in the real estate business. I thought building houses, and I went to work for a company called Cambridge in Dallas. They put me in charge of two different subdivisions. One was about 1,200 acres and one was 600 acres. And the reason they put me in charge of those two projects is because the year before they didn't sell one home site. And so really I was in charge of cutting the grass. Then I sold a couple home sites, and then the market started moving. And within a year, I had developed 1,000 home sites. And so within 5 years, I'd probably developed 5,000 home sites. I'm just some young kid out of Northwestern. I always thought something was wrong, but I didn't really understand what was wrong. But how we build houses is just ridiculous. Look at this. There's no functionality of anything you see here. It's how cheap can you build a house and how stupid can your house be. Now, why you love those houses in Italy or Europe or wherever you go? Because they're all made on the same product. And then you get to see the individual's personality come out of the house. And that's why I love it. Look at this. You want a little education for you in the back seat. Setbacks from the front, side yards. Look at the side yard right here. What purpose is that side yard? What are you going to do? Play golf over there? Tennis? Kick a ball? Right? There's no sense in this. So, there's no sense in this house.
More times than not, when a development occurs, the first thing that happens is the bulldozers come in and scrape the place clean, and then you start from scratch. So you've already cut down all of the trees, you've taken away all of the character of the property, and typically you've taken the drainage, as the water went from one side to the other, and put it in culverts underground.
We are taking land out of commission, land that could be there to clean our air, clean our water, and provide safe food for us. So when we do that, we have an enormous responsibility that if we don't take seriously, we will, I believe, lose the right to practice that. We're stewards, literally, of the environment. I think that term is very often overused, but I think we really are.
We would develop 200 home sites at a time. But being creative back then was to put a gazebo or make all the sidewalks show up at the same place. I went from there to geographically diversify myself and went out on my own. I started building neighborhoods in Columbia, South Carolina, Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, really all over the United States. Fast forward, this is the late 80s, and I was doing consulting work with a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So I was constantly on a plane from coast to coast, really understanding how cities grow. By that time, I had probably developed 15,000 home sites in America. During that period of time, I would go on these trips to the Amazon, back and forth to the Amazon. And the first trip when you go on the Amazon, you think you're the king, and because you're the rich American, you're down there in the jungle, and they need you. This is Boyd Walker. He's on the Amor Beatriz down in the Amazon jungle, just south of Parintines, close to Mamaru. Give us the different examples and what you've seen in the Amazon.
I've been blessed to live there my 52 years, lived there off and on for 40 of them, and working specifically in the Amazon Valley with the normal, I guess you could call normal population of the Amazon Valley, which is river dwellers and lake dwellers in communities or individuals, and also with several of the Indian tribes that are truly the indigenous people of the valley. A community, regardless of whether it be an indigenous tribe or it be local dwellers of the lakes and rivers, usually begins with a patriarch and his family. It grows from there with people that are like-minded. They come and they like to lead. They're following a leader. They feel comfortable, they feel secure, they feel safe. After my second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th trip down there, and eventually building a boat in the Amazon, I realized that they had it right, we had it wrong.